other similar entities in the universe and what they would be like.
Yeah.
You can make all sorts of scenarios. You could imagine people using this as some sort of historical tourism in the future. So you could step into a virtual environment simulation of the past. If time travel is impossible, the second best thing might be to create a very realistic simulation, and then maybe these...
That's an interesting thought, because it could be the case then that some of the people that we see around us are imposters from the future engaged in, like you say, virtual tourism.
Yeah, there are many possibilities.
What if the creators of the simulation have gone extinct themselves, and it's just a kind of self-replicating system now running on automation?
Possible. It doesn't seem so likely.
Yeah, don't be so stupid, son. Like what he'd just been saying made more sense.
That's great. Your idea.
Don't be ridiculous, son. Let's keep the conversation down to earth here. What do you think this is, Star Trek?
Brilliant.
Well, anyway, I thought the whole thing was very interesting, and I thought you might like to hear about it. I'll be fascinated to find out what you think. It's possible to get even crazier, by the way, with the speculations if you want. For example, what happens when we start making our own ancestor simulations? That means there's a possibility of a simulation inside a simulation, and we could simulate other people even though we're simulated ourselves, and the people simulating us right now might be simulated themselves, and even if they're not, based on Dr. Nick's argument, there's a good reason they should suspect that they are. Now,
great.
After hearing the argument, Tommy, Matt Stewart, what do you think the probability is? Dr. Nick said 20%.
20%.
Remember, the only other options are extinction, or we don't ever make the ancestor simulations. I really have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'd say
we liked your idea best. The one the one that floored him, because you come onto a radio thing knowing that your theory is a little bit out there, expecting the DJ to call you a nut, and I think he was on the point of calling you a nut. I mean, it was a beautiful juxtaposition. Very well done. That was fascinating.
It was good.
Is this the kind of stuff that you do on your show?
Not all the time, no. I mean, it's certainly a strange discussion to be having. One of the things he was asked is whether or not they would have the computing power to keep this infinite amount of simulations within simulations running all at the same time. And of course, he said that's impossible. So they thought maybe all the simulations are terminated when they try to run their own simulations inside of the first one. And you know, if that's true, I think we should kill the scientist that's going to try and do it. I don't want to be terminated.
No.
I like life too much. We should hunt him down and kill him. That's what I'm saying.
Painfully. Okay, listen, when we come back, we'll have John with us still, and we'll talk a little bit about that interesting but nutty idea, which reminds me of, everybody's been to these zoos where they provide a realistic environment for the animals, don't they? We've seen chimpanzees and lions and things in part of Africa built in the middle of, a built-up city area. Mm-hmm. And when we see that, it kind of occurs to us, doesn't it, to think to ourselves, supposing if those chimps and lions believe they're in a piece of Africa, supposing our lives are like that and we're in some kind of interplanetary zoo and they've managed to create what appears to us to be a realistic world circa 2007, but in actual fact what is happening, if we were only able to, see through the mist, the wall of that subterfuge, is a whole bunch of aliens with their children in pushchairs going past, going, "What's this one? Oh, it's Homo sapiens."
PlayRadioUK.com. Just great music.
Looking for an easy way to increase revenues for your business? With the world-exclusive Play Radio Stream launch advert, we can tell over 1 million listeners a month about your business and how to buy your products and services. This fantastic opportunity is available exclusively to only one advertiser each month. So make sure you're the one and start increasing profits today. For full details, go to playradiouk.com/sales or call 01243 55 63 55.
This bank holiday, we celebrate chart toppers with nothing but #1 records on playradiouk.com. Hit after hit. Nothing but #1s. Nothing but #1 hit records. Don't miss this Bank Holiday Monday on playradiouk.com. Dynamic Diction with Tommy and Duncan on Play Radio UK. Beware, the content of this show may offend.
Ooh, Dynamic Diction.
Yeah, nice. It's actually Duncan is at a family gathering today, something that's been in his diary for quite a while. Stuart is here, Matt's around,
Hello.
James is somewhere, Leah's somewhere else. In the United States, John Wright has just very kindly put together live a terrific package of... What's the guy's name again, John?
Guy is Dr. Nick Bostrom. He's an Oxford University professor.
We've been getting some feedback on the various chat lines that are running adjacent with the chat. Stuart?
Somebody said he's probably written at least 3 Star Trek scripts, this guy. Somebody else says, let's hope they're not simulating on Windows, because it'll crash.
That's absolutely true.
Chucky Egg, apparently, which was a really old game, apparently is an early simulation of life.
Okay.
And somebody else said if it was a computer game, then it should be Jet Set Willy, because it's far more interesting than the one we're having now.
Yeah. Matt, what's your thought?
Well, like, I was just thinking that if we were in a simulation and the simulation was run by somebody, then that somebody looking at the simulation would be thinking about this Oxford University professor that, hang on a minute, he's about to figure out that he's living in a simulation, so we should de-simulate him before he does figure out it's a simulation and everything goes wrong.
Did he sound like he suspected there might have been a contract out on him, John? No.
Maybe. I mean, I wonder what would happen if we all held up huge signs to the sky all at once saying, "We know what you're up to. Let us out of here, you bastard."
In the game.
There's the chance they'd all smite us, isn't there? I love that word, smite.
Smite.
But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that maybe he would be. He might be on their hit list.
Well, listen, that was really generous of you to bring us that stateside thought and view, John. Maybe we can get you to do it again another time at your convenience.
Certainly.
Good man.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.
He's tops, isn't he?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Very good.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then what do we think, guys? Because you know what I think whenever I come across a new philosophy, and I suppose this is a new philosophy, or at least a new view of what it might be to be a human being. You know, for you to be you, Matt, and you to be you, Stuart, me to be me, Tom, and people, you know, at their PCs, what it is for you to be you. Okay, you get this new set of ideas. So there's this guy Bostrom. He says, well, you're just in a computer simulation, okay? But then what do you do tomorrow differently? Supposing you buy that idea.
Yeah.
Supposing you go, yeah, I've thought that for a long time, and his numbers add up. Then do you still get up tomorrow and go to work? Or do you...
Good point. Yep. Do you know there's a new thing that Google are going to start to do, apparently, where Google are going to incorporate something in their search engine where actually you can ask it a question, what shall I do tomorrow?
Yeah.
And it will pop up results based on your profile that it's learnt about you over the many years of you searching to suggest things for you to do tomorrow.
So I don't want to
How
get
freaky is
heavy.
that?
I don't want to get heavy about this, but from time to time, and I've got teenage sons who kind of hint this question at me. Being their dad, I should have some idea how to answer this question. You know, they like me, and I bet like you two guys too, and everybody else. From time to time, I think to myself, what am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, if I'm a healthy guy, and I'm probably not, but if I were, I'd get about 80 years, 90 years maybe, which is either a very long time if you're sentenced to 80 years in prison. You go, that's a long time. but then a lot of 80-year-olds will look at you and they'll go, it just flew by. But what do you do? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
It's
Nobody tells you
no,
that.
that's it.
Your own thing.
You don't know. So you go through school, you get as many exams as you can, assuming that that's going to give you some idea of what to do. And if you're lucky and you get a couple of A's, you don't choose it. You're sent to university because it's kind of, well, it's what to do next. And I think most of them end up at university going, well, maybe at the end of 3 years here, I'll find out what I'm supposed to do. But I don't think anybody ever tells you. You get a sneaking feeling from time to time of what it is you're supposed to do, but you don't get, you know, any clear writing on the wall.
Ian says if it was a simulation, he'd be buying a porno mag and sat at home simulating himself.
Well, I went to years ago to one of those IT fairs where they were showing off the very latest, and I got to put on one of those hats with a screen inside it, and you put on gloves.
Virtual reality things, yeah.
And it was really poor because it was so slow in catching up with what you were doing that every time I tried to walk to the door in the room, I'd walk into the wall. It was exactly like being very pissed.
That'll be me last night then.
But I said to the guy, well, where's this going to go then? Obviously, you're going to have some great adventure games, aren't you? And he said, oh no, he said, this is going to go towards the, how can I put it, the blue industry. So what do you mean? He said, well, what we're going to be able to offer, guys, is this, right? You buy this rubber suit and you zip yourself into it. And the interior of this suit contains hundreds of thousands of small points which can either deliver pressure or heat, okay? And then you put the hat on